Hello, and welcome to CZenStar, This Week in Star Citizen, ending May 16th, 2015. I am Citizen Ed of CZenStarNews.com, where we put the citizen first. This week's CZenStar, well, stars really, the members of the Star Citizen subreddit and RSI forums that have stepped up with some really great ideas and mock-ups for an intro to Shipshape with Lisa Ohanian. We've been enjoying the segment on Around the Verse, most particularly the sneak peeks at progress and updates of the ships. A running gag had been the lack of an intro graphic. This week's episode featured an open call for someone to design, and boy did the community step up. There's some great work here, and not only do I think that some of this is definitely going to get used, I think it's going to be a tough job picking. If you want to know more about the stories and graphics I mentioned, navigate your browser to CZenStarNews.com and look for the latest This Week in Star Citizen. The show notes article is rich in graphics and links for your perusal.
This Week in Star Citizen.
I'd like to make a shout out to the CZenStar featured in the past, Gray-Headed Gamer, who had a tense moment this week. The Star Citizen subreddit rallied behind him to save him from a shadow ban for posting too much of his own work as a percentage of his total posts, which is technically against Reddit's rules. Good on the Reddit admins for recognizing that the content was desired by the community. It's often hard to tell the difference between a content creator and contributor as opposed to crass self-promotion and spammer that these rules are meant to keep platforms from being overwhelmed by.
This Week in Star Citizen.
An interesting story that came to light this week. The new Puglisi collection of subscriber flair was so named after a fan and backer who passed recently. A touching tribute from a company that cares about its community. Star Citizen Alpha 1.1.3 was released. Skipping test. Featuring bug fixes, performance increases. Keep flying and providing feedback. We have a new lead moderator, Patrick Probst. Patrick has been serving as CSR, Customer Service Rep, out of the UK for some time now and is stepping up for the challenging job of lead moderator of the RSI forums. Good luck, Patrick. The forums are somewhat embroiled at the moment. In addition to the usual exuberance, impatience over the wait for Star Marine and the social module, as well as some passionate revisiting of the old LTI question in the light of the Gemini concept sale, are making this quite the week to start that new job. We have the pleasure of a new Jumppoint this week. Thank you for the hard work, Mr. David Ladyman and contributors. We get a look at the design process of the Hull series, with hints at other directions they could have taken, and new art of the current designs. This appears to have been an interesting process. For example, the advertising billboards were a very late addition, and several of the cockpit designs seem reminiscent of the abandoned bubble cockpits of the early Freelancer. And there's an extended feature on the work and lessons learned with the board game model developed as a prototype of the economy. No, they aren't releasing that to the public, at least not anytime soon. We get galactic guide entries on Kovalex shipping and the OSO system, a system with developing life forms covered under the UEE's Fair Chance Act. An Osean walks into a bar and orders a drink. The bartender says, "I'm sorry, but I'm not allowed to serve you because your culture hasn't discovered alcohol yet." The Osean thinks for a second and then says, "If you leave a bottle on the counter, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to discover it myself." Starfarer Questions. A new welcome addition to official communications has been the Q&A done around the new concept ships. Since these ships aren't as well fleshed out as the ones we've known for years now, it's been very useful to have the ability to ask the designers what they had in mind. Some notable examples. Question: how viable is the Starfarer as a solo player ship? Max crew has grown quite a bit. Answer: perfectly viable. The Starfarer has had several seats added for its part in Squadron 42, mostly gunners. But we don't see the gameplay changing significantly. Remember that max crew refers to the number of people who can have a role at any one time, not the number of people needed to fly the ship in the first place. Question: the stats page and ship info list the Starfarer and Gemini as having the same weapons, engines, and mass. Is this an oversight? If they haven't yet been determined, it's okay to tell us. It would be a lot less confusing. Answer: this is an oversight. The Gemini has one size larger turrets and engines. Question: can we expect soon an in-depth article about fuels, liquids in general, and the whole economy in the verse? Answer: yes, the fuel system and related balancing are still in development. But when we have a solid prototype in place, we will present it to you. The economy will be fleshed out in many articles as we approach the launch of the persistent universe. Question: how many stars could a Starfarer fare if a Starfarer could fare stars? Answer: 42! An alert on what's coming next week. In the continuance of a MISC-heavy May, we've been given notice that the MISC Reliant will be introduced next week as a concept sail. The Reliant is notable as a two-seat starter ship with alien tech. Concept sail features lifetime insurance, and we were told that the pricing will be $50. A little higher than the standalone prices of the other starter ships, but also notably the cheapest concept sail we've seen in quite a while. And that's all we have for now. This has been Citizen Ed with CZenStarNews.com. Hope to see you next week in Star Citizen. CitizenStarNews.com, where we put the citizens first. Engage with Star Citizen today. Follow the news, both development and in lore, or write your own articles, features, and fiction. We take citizen submissions. There's room on staff, or become a partner. You can let us help develop your brand. CitizenStarNews.com, where the citizen is the star, chronicling your stories. The history of the verse is unfolding now, real time. Don't wait until 2946 to be a part of Star Citizen. CitizenStarNews.com. Would you like to know more?